Hello friends. Now today we are going to discuss electrochemistry. So before starting with this electrochemistry, let's introduce the term electrochemistry. What do you mean by electrochemistry? Before it's very mandatory to know the meaning of chapter, meaning of topic before studying the details of the topic. So starting with this term electrochemistry, so let me write down the name of the topic first. Topic is electrochemistry. So let's begin with electrochemistry. Now before this, let's define the term electrochemistry. Electrochemistry is a branch of chemistry which deals with the study of the production of electricity from a spontaneous redox chemical reaction and the use of this electricity for converting a non-spontaneous chemical process. So I repeat the definition again. Is a branch of science or chemistry which deals with the study of the production of electricity from a spontaneous redox reaction and the use of electricity in carrying out a non-spontaneous chemical process. So simply saying, there are some chemical reactions which are spontaneous redox reactions. So during this spontaneous redox reaction, this chemical reaction produces some amount of energy, and that energy, that is what we call as chemical energy. So that chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. So this is the case of a spontaneous redox reaction. Now there will be some other reaction which is non-spontaneous. So now to carry out this non-spontaneous chemical reaction, we supply electric current. So by use of this electric current, a non-spontaneous reaction is made to occur in the forward direction. So production of chemical energy into electrical energy from a spontaneous redox reaction and use of this electrical energy for carrying out a non-spontaneous chemical process. So this is what we call as electrochemistry. So simply saying, this chemistry deals with conversion from chemical energy to electrical energy and vice versa, or this electrical energy into chemical energy. So any chemistry which deals with this process, this is what we call as electrochemistry. Now since we are using chemical reactions, so in this chemical reaction there are some species which is carrying current, because look at this, we are converting this chemical into electrical energy and electrical energy into chemical energy. That is, there must be some carrier of current. So simply, in other words, we say this electrochemistry deals with the chemistry of electrolytes Again, now look at this, we are using a term which is known as electrolytes. So let's know what is the meaning of electrolytes. So electrolytes are any chemical species which shows conductance in solution form or in molten state. So now look at this, again I am repeating, electrolytes are those chemical species which shows conducting power or conductance in its fused state or molten state or in solution. So those species are known as electrolytes. So chemical species shows conductance in molten or fused state and solution. So those chemical species are known as electrolytes. So in this conversion into chemical energy into electrical energy or electrical energy into converged energy, we have to use some electrolytes, and that electrolytes is showing conducting property in which the molten or fused state or solution is conducting in nature, and that part is used in electrochemistry. So now look at this. Now we have to define this substance known as electrolytes. So these electrolytes is of two types. One is known as strong electrolyte. The other one is known as weak electrolyte. So strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. So strong electrolytes are those electrolytes which is almost completely ionized, whereas weak electrolytes are those electrolytes which is not completely ionized or whose extent of ionization or degree of dissociation is small. So those are known as weak electrolytes. So almost means almost 100% dissociated. So those electrolytes which is almost 100% dissociated, these are known as strong electrolytes. So that means alpha, degree of dissociation, is approximately 1 or 100% dissociated. And those electrolytes, now look at this, these electrolytes in solid state will not show any conductance. When these electrolytes are heated at its melting point, these undergoes dissociation into cations and anions, and that cations and anions will carry electrical current. Or these ionic compounds or polar covalent compounds, when dissolved in water in solution, they furnish to give you cations and anions. So those species is what we call as electrolytes. So strong electrolytes, now look at this, we have sodium chloride, potassium bromide, sodium nitrate, potassium sulfate, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, etc. So these electrolytes, these are locally solids, so these solids will not show any conductance. But when these solids are heated at its melting point, this dissociates to give you Na plus cation or anion, and that cation or anion is showing conducting property. As well as when these compounds are dissolved in water, they furnish to give you cations and anions, and this solution contains free ions. So these are known as strong electrolytes. Weak electrolytes, small degree of dissociation, means alpha is very small, extent of dissociation is very less. And examples we can have a look at is organic acids. All organic acids, RCOOH, all organic acids are weak acids. Now we have look at this carbonic acid, we have ammonium hydroxide, we have HC and etc. Or we can also look at this H3BO3. So these are the substance whose degree of dissociation is small. So the extent of dissolution is being small, so the quantity of cations and anions present in the solution is small, so hence conducting power is less. So now look at this. So again I am repeating, we have this electrolytes defined as species which shows conductance in molten state and solution. This is of two types, strong and weak electrolyte, almost 100% dissociated, less than 100% dissociated. Now why these electrolytes carries current? So these conductance in molten state or fused state is due to the presence of free cations and anions. So these cations and anions is responsible for the conductance of these electrolytes in molten state or in solution. So this is what we call as electrolytes. So electrochemistry is dealing with electrolytes. So these electrolytes may be of strong electrolyte or weak electrolytes. Now look at this. These electrochemistry, where there is a conversion of this chemical energy into electrical energy, or electrical energy is used for carrying out any chemical reaction. So this process is carried out in a device which is known as cell. So this device used for conversion of electrical energy into chemical energy. Device used for this is known as cell. So this conversion of chemical energy to electrical energy or electrical energy to chemical energy is carried out in a device which is known as cell. So we have an important device which is known as cell, which is used for this process. So this cell can be used for conversion of chemical energy from a spontaneous redox reaction into chemical energy, or this may be used for conversion of this a non-spontaneous redox reaction by use of electrical energy. So this cell that we have used here, this cell, so I repeat, cell is a device which is used for conversion of chemical into electrical energy or electrical into chemical energy. This cell is of again two types. The first one is known as electrochemical cell, which is also known as galvanic cell, which is also known as voltaic cell, electrochemical or galvanic or voltaic cell. The second one is known as electrolytic cell. Now look at this. What is electrochemical cell, galvanic cell or voltaic cell? This electrochemical, galvanic or voltaic, this is the name of scientist. Based on the name of the scientist, we get this electrochemical cell. So this is a cell where chemical energy is used to convert into electrical energy. That means we have a spontaneous redox reaction. So this spontaneous redox reaction takes place in a spontaneous manner, and because of this chemical reaction some energy is released, and that energy release is converted into electrical energy. So here this conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy, the process will be spontaneous redox reaction. So we have a spontaneous redox reaction. So because of this reaction energy is released, and that energy release is converted into electrical energy. So this is electrochemical or galvanic or voltaic cell. Now on the other hand, we have this electrolytic cell. So electrolytic cell means we have a non-spontaneous reaction which cannot occur on its own. So this non-spontaneous reaction is made to occur in forward direction. So for this, some external agent is required, and that external agent is what we call as your supplying current. So we are made to occur a chemical reaction by use of electric current. So this is a device in which electrical energy is used to carry out a non-spontaneous chemical process. That means by use of this electric current, chemical reaction is made to occur. That means electrical energy is converted into chemical energy. So device when his electrical energy is used for carrying out chemical reaction or electrical energy into chemical energy, that is known as electrolytic cell. And this electrolytic cell, the process is non-spontaneous. So we have a non-spontaneous reaction. So this non-spontaneous reaction is made to carry it out by use of electrical energy. So this is what we call as cell. So either we convert this chemical into electrical energy or electrical into chemical energy. Based on this, we classify cells into two. So electrochemical, galvanic or voltaic, chemical to electrical energy. Redox reaction is always spontaneous. Whereas this electrolytic cell, redox reaction is non-spontaneous. So this non-spontaneous reaction is made to occur in forward direction by use of electric current. So we have converted this electric current energy or electrical energy into chemical energy. So this is cell. Now to start with this electrochemistry, so we have to start with some basics. And let me start with the basics. So we have started what is electrochemistry, what is electrolytes, then which particles are responsible for carrying conductivity of electrolytes, types of electrolyte, their examples, and this chemical to electrical to energy conversion is carried out in a device known as cell, and we have classified the cells into two different types: electrochemical, galvanic or voltaic cell. So we have started with this cell. Now let's see the components of this and some important terminology involving this cell. Now the first thing that we have to know about the cell consists of two half cells. Combination of these two half cell makes a full cell, and that half cell is known as electrode. So we have this term electrodes, which is also known as half cell. So combination of these half cells gives you a full cell. Now let me define what is electrodes. Now electrodes is a combination of an electronic conductor and an electrolytic conductor. So I repeat this again. Electrodes or half cell is an assembly of an electrolytic conductor and an electronic conductor. Electronic conductor means the metal rod. In all metals, conductance is due to the presence of mobile electron. So we have an electronic conductor that is known as metal rod. Now this metal rod is dipped or placed in an aqueous solution of its salt. So the salt in aqueous solution, that gives you electrolyte. So we have electrolytic conductor and we have electronic conductor. So the assembly is assembly of an electrolytic conductor an electronic conductor. So let me draw the diagram here. So we take this. So we have a container. Now to this container we place an electrolytic solution. So this solution contains some metal ion Mn plus, solution of metal ion. Now to this solution of metal ion we place a metal rod here. Metal rod. So this metal rod, that is solid metal, this metal rod is what you call as electronic conductor. So we have electronic conductor, and this electronic conductor is dipped in a solution of its salt. So this solution is known as electrolytic conductor. So we have this assembly of metallic conductor, which is known as electronic conductor, and electrolytic conductor. So this combination is what we call as electrodes. So this is what we call as half cell electrodes or half cell. Now this half cell, which is also known as electrodes, is of two types. One is known as anode, the other one is known as cathode. So electrodes is of two types, anode and cathode. So this anode is one half cell, cathode is another half cell. So combination of this anode and cathode gives you a full cell. So anode is an electrode where oxidation reaction takes place. Oxidation reaction always takes place. Cathode is electrode where reduction always takes place. So anode is always oxidation, cathode is always reduction. So oxidation, suppose take this case, so we have a metal one which is solid. Now this metal one goes into solution M1, suppose N1 plus N1 electrons are removed. This is what we call as oxidation. So this solid goes into solution aqueous. So during this process some N1 electron is released. So this is oxidation. A reduction reaction is, suppose we have N2 plus metal ion which is in aqueous solution. So this takes up N2 electron and it gets reduced to N2 solid. This is what we call as anode oxidation, this is cathode reduction. So this is what we call as electrodes or half cell. I have shown you the description, assembly of metal rod or electrolytic conductor. So now look at this. In this process, now look at this. What is happening is, depending on whether this is acting as an anode or cathode, either this metal goes into solution. So for oxidation process, either this metal will goes into solution. So metal, solid metal is going into solution. This is oxidation, or this metal ion is getting reduced to give you metal. So this is oxidation, this is reduction. So this is what is happening at this electrodes, that is cathode or anode. So now look at this. What I'm trying to show is this metal solid into if this metal solid is going into metal ion in solution, so that means there is a release of n moles of electron. So this is oxidation. So this is happening at anode. Or if this metal ion present in solution takes up n moles of electron and gets reduced to give you metal. So this process is known as reduction. So this reduction is taking place at cathode. So this reaction is what is happening in electrodes. So now remember this, anode is where always oxidation takes place, cathode is always where reduction reaction takes place, and assembly of this is what we call as electrodes. Now when we have this reaction at the respective electrodes, now look at this. This interface, at this interface, now look at this, we have a solid, we have a solution. At this interface of solid and solution, at this interface, because of this charge separation, there exists a potential difference, and that potential difference is known as half cell potential. Half cell potential. Now look at this. Let me define what is half cell potential, or this is known as E half cell potential. Now look at this. This is the potential difference developed across the solid solution phase boundary. Potential developed across this phase boundary. This potential is known as half cell potential. Potential difference developed at the interface of solid and solution. This is solid, this is solution, is known as half cell potential. So this, depending on this, whether this is taking oxidation or this is taking reduction, we can define this as oxidation potential or reduction potential. So now the combination of these cell potential will gives you a potential which is known as cell potential. So this is electrode potential or half cell potential. So electrode potential or half cell potential is the potential difference developed at the interface of solid and solution phase. And this, why this, there is a potential difference developed, this is due to charge separation. This is what we call as electrode potential. Now we have cathode and anode. If this cathode and anode, if joined together gives you cell, then there must be some potential at cathode and there must be some potential at anode. Again, now look at this, when this is combined, then there must be again a potential difference developed between cathode and anode, and that potential difference developed is known as cell potential. So we have this term again, cell potential, which is known as E cell, or sometimes written as electromotive force, EMF. So this is cell potential, this is half cell or electrode potential. Now as just I have mentioned you, this is the potential difference developed between cathode and anode. The potential difference developed between cathode and anode is known as cell potential. So now look at this cell potential, by definition this E cell potential is defined as reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. Now for a given cell, this can also be written as, look at this, reduction potential of cathode plus oxidation potential of anode. This can also be written as oxidation potential of anode minus oxidation potential of cathode. But the standard definition is this. So reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode, or oxidation potential of anode minus oxidation potential of cathode. For a given electrode, oxidation potential is equals to minus of reduction potential. It is OP, oxidation potential, RP, reduction potential. So the difference between the half cell potential, that is reduction potential of cathode, to that of anode is known as cell potential. So to define this cell potential, we need to have the electrode potential or the half cell potential, and this half cell potential can be measured in terms of reduction potential or in terms of oxidation potential, but in literature the given values are always measured in terms of reduction potential. So cell potential is reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. So this is the cell potential in terms of electrode potential. Now along with this cell potential, we will discuss cell potential later on. So let me just differentiate between cell potential and EMF. What is the difference between cell potential and EMF? Cell potential and electromotive force. There is a basic difference between this cell potential and electromotive force. Now cell potential is the actual potential that we can obtain from a cell when current is passing through. This is actual potential when current is passing through it. So when current is passing through the cell, what is the actual potential difference that develop? That is known as cell potential. Whereas this EMF, electromotive force, is the maximum potential that could be obtained, and this maximum potential difference is when there is no current pass through. Maximum potential that can be obtained when no current is passed through. So this is always the maximum, this is the actual. So this cell potential will always be less than the maximum potential that could be obtained from the cell. This maximum potential is when no current is passed through the circuit. This is when a current is passing through the circuit. What is the actual potential difference that can be obtained, that is known as cell potential. Sometimes in many of the books we simply use cell potential, or which is known as EMF, but the basic difference is this. This is the maximum value, this is always less than the maximum value. Means this is the maximum work that output that could be obtained, but this is always, the output here is always less than the maximum value. Why? Because of this passing of current. When current is passed through, there is always some loss, and that because of that loss, the actual potential is always less than the maximum that could be obtained from any given cell. So this is cell potential. This is defined as reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. So if reduction potential of cathode anode is given, then we can easily define what is the value of cell potential. So this is the difference between cell potential and the EMF. Now since we have this cell, in a cell we have two half cells. Each half cell, because of charge difference, there is a potential difference which is known as electrode potential. Combination of this electrode potential gives you cell potential. Now we have a cell. So now let's see how to represent a cell. A representation of cell means, here we are discussing first galvanic cell. Galvanic or voltaic cell, because we have to represent this, or electrochemical cell representation. Now we have two half cell. Suppose we have these two half cell. This is two half cell. In these two half cell we have placed this is metal rod, this is another metal rod. Suppose this one be M1, this is M2. Now we have placed this metal in a solution. Let this be M1 N plus. This solution is M2 N plus. Now these two solutions are connected through This is known as salt breeze. Now this is what we call as cell. Now conventionally, the one which is placed on the left hand side, this is known as anode. So anode is always placed on the left hand side and cathode is always right hand side. Right hand side, this is left hand side. Now we have discussed earlier, anode is where oxidation reaction takes place. Oxidation reaction. So oxidation reaction means the metal, one solid goes into solution plus an electron is released. On the other hand, cathode, where reduction reaction takes place. So reduction reaction is, we have this N2 ion takes up an electron and is getting reduced into N2 solid. So now look at this, what is happening is, in the first container, that is left hand electrode or anode, this metal solid is getting oxidized to metal ion. So now look at this, when this metal one solid is oxidized to give you metal ion, electron will be released, an electron, but now since electron cannot remain in solid, so electrons accumulate on the surface of electrode. Now because of this accumulation of electron on the surface of this electrode is negatively having more negative density, so this anode is known as negative terminal. So anode is always negative terminal. Now on the other side, look at this, in cathode, electron is being consumed by this metal ion present in the solution and is converted into metal solid. So now look at this metal ion consumes electrons from the solution and is getting reduced to metal solid. Now since this solution consumes electrons, so the negative charge density is less, so this cathode is given as positive terminal. So in a galvanic or in a voltaic cell, anode is negative terminal, cathode is positive terminal. Why? Because of oxidation, electron is being accumulated on the surface of metal, hence this is given as negative electrode, whereas on the other side, cathode, electron is being consumed by the metal ion present in the solution for getting reduction into metal solid. So because of this consumption of electron, this is given as positive electrode. Now look at this, we have a glass rod, glass tube which is connecting between this cathode and anode. This glass tube which connects cathode and anodic compartment is known as salt breeze. Salt breeze. So now look at this, during this process, now electron is moving from, in this cell, electron is moving from negative electrode to positive electrode in external circuit. So direction of flow of electron is moving from flow of electron. So electron in a galvanic or voltaic cell, electron always flow from negative electrode, that is anode, to cathode in external circuit. In external circuit, electron is flowing from anode to cathode. And if this is the direction of flow of electron, then the direction of flow of current is from cathode to anode. Flow of current. So current always flow from cathode to anode and electron in the external circuit flows from anode to cathode. So this is the combination of two half cell which gives you a complete cell, and these two half cells are connected through a salt bridge, which is a U-shaped glass tube filled with some salts. And what are the types of salt that I will discuss later on? What is the function of salt bridge, that again I am going to discuss later on. So this is salt bridge. Now suppose we have this cell. Now because of this reaction which is taking place, current flows in the circuit. So this is, we have some spontaneous chemical reaction, and because of this spontaneous chemical reaction, current is being generated, and this is what we call as. Now suppose if an external current, suppose for this cell, suppose E cell is some X volt, let's say this is X volt. Now this cell is connected to an external circuit. Suppose this is connected to an external applied potential. Now look at this very carefully. Initially we have a cell. Because of this spontaneous reaction, some energy is released, and that energy is converted into electrical energy. So this is the direction of flow of electron, and this is the direction of flow of current. Now this cell is now connected to an external circuit. अब external circuit से इसको जोड़ा गया. Now this external circuit, I have three different cases will arise here. Now this is the potential. Now applied potential. If external applied potential is less than this cell potential, then the reaction will occur and current will spontaneous reaction. So if the external applied potential is less than the cell potential, then the reaction will occur in both anode and cathodic compartment, and electron will flow from anode to cathode, and cell will be a working cell, that is galvanic cell, the current generate current. Now if this external applied potential is equals to the cell potential, if external applied potential is equals to the cell potential, reaction will stop. So if reaction stops, no current flow. So when we apply external potential which is equals to the cell potential, then no reaction will stop. If the reaction stops, no current will flow in the circuit. And the third case is, if this external potential is greater than the cell potential, now the reaction will occur in the reverse way. Current will flow in opposite direction. Now in the first case, now look at this, when external pressure is less than cell potential, current is flowing from cathode to anode, because electron is flowing from anode to cathode. When external applied potential is equal to cell potential, reaction will stop, no flow of electron, no flow of current. But if the external pressure is greater than this internal pressure, now flow of direction of current will change. Initially this was from cathode to anode, now current will flow from anode to cathode. So this terminal will change. So this is external potential, and what happens when this is connected to an external applied potential. Now in this we have used a particular term which is known as salt bridge. Now let's see what is salt bridge. Salt bridge. So this salt bridge, as I told you, this is a U-shaped glass tube which is filled with some salts, and this salt bridge acts as a connecting link between anode and cathode. U-shaped glass tube filled with some salt, and acts as an electrical connecting link between cathode and anode. So that glass tube is known as salt bridge, because in this glass tube some salt is being filled, so this is known as salt bridge. Now look at this, which types of salts can be used here? Salts that could be used in salt bridge, salts like KCl, KNO3, ammonium chloride, ammonium nitrate, K2SO4, etc. could be used. So now look at this, some specific salts is to be used. So all salts cannot be used here. Only some specific salts will be used here, and these some salts that I have mentioned here: potassium chloride, potassium nitrate, ammonium chloride, ammonium nitrate, potassium sulfate, etc. So these are some specific salts. So look at these salts, those salts in which the ionic mobility of cation and anion is approximately same or equal. Salts which have similar ionic mobility of cation and anion in the solution. So that means if they are not exactly identical, then the difference between the ionic mobilities of cation and anion should be very small. So those types of salts which have almost similar or exactly identical ionic mobility in the solution can be used. That means the mobility of potassium and Cl minus is approximately same. Mobility of potassium and nitrate ion is same. Mobility of ammonium and chloride, ammonium and nitrate, potassium and sulfate. So those types of salts with similar ionic mobility of cation and anion should be same. Those salts can be used for preparation of salt bridge. Now this is salt bridge. This is the salt which can be used in the salt bridge. Now functions of salt bridge. What is the main function of this salt bridge? Now the function of salt bridge is, first function, it acts as an electrical connecting link between the cathode and anode. Electrical connecting link between cathode and anode. So now look at this, without this salt bridge, reaction will stop immediately, and once we have this salt bridge, means this makes an electrical connecting link between cathode and anode without actual migration of the substance from cathode to anode or anode to cathode. Just make an electrical connecting link. So because of this electrical connecting link, the reaction will continue. Cell will continue to work and current will generate. The second function of this salt bridge is to make the solution electrically neutral. to maintain electrical neutrality of solution without actual transfer of material between the electrodes. Electrolytic compartments. That means without transfer of material from cathode to anode or anode to cathode, this acts as electrical connecting link. Now let's see. Let me explain how this acts as electrical connecting link. Now look at this. During the functioning of this galvanic cell, metal. So when this is connected to external circuit, now reaction takes place. Solid metal is oxidized to metal ion. Now look at this. When this metal is oxidized to give you metal ion, there is accumulation of positive charge. Already solution contains some metal ion, and along with this there is extra metal ion that is being formed. So because of this formation of extra metal ion, positive density, more positive charges will accumulate. Because of this accumulation of positive charge, reaction will stop within a fraction of seconds. Because this formation, this positive charge will oppose this conversion of metal into metal. तो इनिशियली बहुत सारा मेटल आयन है, फिर यहाँ से मेटल आयन जनरेट करेंगे तो पॉजिटिव चार्ज बहुत ज़्यादा होगा. तो जैसे पॉजिटिव चार्ज ज़्यादा होगा, ये पॉजिटिव चार्ज इस रिएक्शन को अपोज करना शुरू करेंगे तो रिएक्शन बंद हो जाएगा. On the other side, look at this metal ion, electron consume किया and this is reduced to metal. तो now यहाँ पे मेटल आयन का क्वांटिटी कम हुआ तो नेगेटिव चार्ज यहाँ पे ज़्यादा एक्यूमुलेट करेंगे. तो जैसे जैसे यहाँ पे नेगेटिव चार्ज ज़्यादा एक्यूमुलेट करेंगे, ये जो प्रोसेस है फिर से ये अपोज करेंगे तो रिएक्शन विद इन अ फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड्स रुक जाएगा. नाउ सिंस सेल को कंटिन्यूटी मेंटेन करना है, सो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इज now because of this oxidation some positive charge is generated, positive charge accumulate. Those excess positive charges that should be neutralized, and to neutralize this excess positive charge some anion, यहाँ से anion बाहर आएंगे नेगेटिव चार्ज. Now as this oxidation takes place, accumulation of positive charge takes place. To neutralize this excess positive charge, the negative charge from this solvent will come out. As a negative charge is come out, so this negative will neutralize excess positive charge. So charges is neutralized. So तो ये मेटल आयन मूव करेंगे एंड यहाँ से नेगेटिव आएंगे तो एक्सेस चार्ज पॉजिटिव चार्ज दैट इज बीइंग न्यूट्रलाइज्ड. So no accumulation of excess positive charge. Now reaction will continue without any opposition. On the other side, because of this reduction of metal ion, there is excess accumulation of positive or negative. So to neutralize excess accumulation of negative charge in cathodic compartment, the positive charge will come out from this salt breeze. तो यहाँ से positive बाहर आएंगे. Now this positive ion coming from this salt breeze will neutralize the excess negative charge जो solution में present है. So because of this, the cell keeps on moving. That means reaction keeps on continuing. As the reaction goes on, there is a production of current. So this is the main purpose of this salt breeze. So this is a galvanic cell. Now look at this galvanic cell. Now इतना बड़ा तो हम डिसाइड नहीं कर पाएंगे. So now we have to represent in a plain paper.